All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. Me and Emma are back. Told you guys we were going to do this a little different this time to make sure that we can reach more of you guys and also have a little bit more of a consistent connection here. So, we're going to talk about the spirituality of money in more detail today. We have our talking points and everything together. So, I'll pretty much be taking lead on this. So, go with us here while we explore and have fun and hopefully can get this out within like 30 to 45 minutes. Nothing really long. So, basically, the reason we want to bring up this conversation is because people struggle with their lack of financial knowledge, but they also struggle with acknowledging the struggles they have mentally, emotionally, and about money. Sometimes you see your environment, the way you grew up. Sometimes it's how you saw people handling money growing up. Maybe neglecting things that you felt financially. Sometimes things you wanted probably couldn't happen. Maybe you didn't get your hair done a lot as a kid. Maybe you didn't have nice clothes. Things like that. So then you grow up and you develop these habits hoping to kind of heal yourself, and you figure out you really don't know how to handle money because you're trying to heal wounds instead of actually deal with things. So this is why Emma is involved, because she specializes in all of these things. So first I want to start with understanding your money story, and Emma, this is your line of expertise. So can you explain a little bit about how past experiences and family dynamics and society beliefs can shape somebody's financial habits?
Yeah, absolutely. What a great question. I'm in a warm place right now. It's like 90 degrees. So just to let you know, I money stories are really the foundation to our lives with money. So how much money you make, how much money you get to keep. It's all kind of like a thermostat. If you think about a thermostat in a building, I wish I had one here to keep it nice and cool. But you have a financial thermostat. It's like a comfort zone for your money. So we all have one, and we get these from where we're brought up, from our parents passed them on to us from our grandparents, and a lot of us don't have it set to a very low point where we might have been brought up by parents who had a lot of worries about money, and we then take that on. And there's also a part of us that's really deep within us. We want to be part of the tribe, we want to be recognized, we want to be accepted. So we don't want to get above ourselves, we don't want to step out and do something different, because then we could be rejected from the tribe, from the community. And I know this might sound a little bit silly, but from a really kind of core, deep place in ourselves, that's an existential threat. Because if you think back to thousands of years ago when we were in communities, that was what kept us alive. If we were cast out, we were dead. So there's a part of us that's really all about keeping us safe. And that means keeping us in the same kind of level as our community so that we'll be accepted and recognized and seen and accepted. So it's a really primal thing that we've got inside ourselves. And this is why there's so many people out there. They've got businesses, and they really have all these big ambitions. They want to make 10,000 a month. They have big dreams. But what they find is that they consciously or unconsciously sabotage themselves by procrastinating, or they find that money just slips through their fingers every month, even if they're making it, or they have this start and stop thing where things start working and then like the brakes come on, because this primal start part of us is like, oh my God, it's not safe to go to that next stage, because if you do, you'll be rejected. What will your parents think? What will your community say? People like, it's not right for women to make that much money, and all these fears that maybe you're not even conscious of. Like, what would I do with all that money? What will my friends think if I'm making that much money? And these are all things that really affect us on a primal level. And these are often the things that people ignore. They just go and they try to do the strategy side of things. And that's really, really important. That's where Coach AJ comes in. We've got to have a good strategy. But I wonder if Aunjane will agree with me here. But I've noticed that when you don't have that foundational piece, you can have the best financial coaching in the world. You can have Aunjane telling you exactly what to do. You can even try to do it, but you will end up sabotaging yourself if you have these fundamental things. The fears, they're going to like trip you up and pull you back into your comfort zone. It's like that thermostat. And this is also a thing that affects everyone, even people who are really successful. Maybe they're at 10K, they want to get to 20K, they're at six figures, they want to get to seven. They hit that comfort zone as well because they might be doing all the things trying to get to 7K, but there's a part of them that's like, oh my God, if I do that, what will happen? I'll have too much business, I'll have no time for my kids. And that's the part that puts the brakes on. So you can be doing all the right things and nothing's working, and that just creates a self-sabotage spiral that increases shame. I know all about this because I've been through it myself. It just reinforces that shame that I can't do it, and reinforces all those negative beliefs and makes it harder and harder to succeed. So I'm such an advocate that people need to be doing this work so that they don't run into that, so they don't fall back in their confidence, and that they keep moving forward. Because I really believe the world needs people to be on fire right now. The world people needs people who are out there doing their mission, thriving. It's more important now than ever, and the world really, really, really needs people like that to step up, to lean into their passion and the purpose. And it is totally possible to thrive doing what you're here to do. If you've got that calling, that's what it is. I work with purpose driven people, heart centered people. And if you're feeling called to do something, do it. But this is 80% the mindset stuff, the energies that this is like 80% of it, in my opinion. And 20% is the strategy, also really important. But if you don't have the 80% mindset, belief set sorted out, none of that 20% of really key help, assistance and support with the strategy is going to move you forward. I don't know. What do you think on Anjane? What do you think about this? Do you agree with me?
I totally agree with you because I personally deal with it myself. That's one of the reasons that I struggled with being out there consistently with coaching, because it was, I don't want to be on the computer all day. I don't want to be in front of a camera all day. Coaching sessions, live sessions, trainings, webinars, and feel like my six babies don't get to see their mom a lot because I also offer financial services and stuff. So if I'm not doing bookkeeping or tax preparation, I was like, do I really want to be coaching? But I love helping individuals really figure things out. And every time I get that feeling that I don't want to do it because I don't want to take time from them, I find out that there's other people who need my help that I didn't even know were watching me. And so it becomes an internal struggle. But
Yeah.
I told myself I need to make it where it's enough capacity for me where I don't have to necessarily diminish my income or decrease how much I make, but I put value on my time. And I think that's where people get stuck because we're like, well, I don't really want to charge that much because I don't really know that much. But then if someone calls you right now on your phone and talks to you about something you're really passionate about and you know the ins and outs of, you're going to forget all of that. You're going to be like, yeah, you can do this, you can do that. And then you'll be like, oh, I should be charging for this, huh? And then you're missing out on opportunities because you're fearful of, if I make $50,000 a month, what does that mean? That means you made $50,000 a month. Congratulations to yourself. But then people think about the taxes and they think about all of that. And I'm like, well, if you have the proper people in your corner that can coach you and teach you how to put those strategies together, you don't have to worry about that. It's about asking the proper questions like, hey, my income's increasing. What do I need to do? How do I plan this? And that's where someone like me comes in because I don't just coach. I actually offer the help, like the tax planning, the preparation, all of that, making sure you're getting all of your proper deductions, what you should be investing that money into. So, like, I have a financial advisor I'm partnered with that's securities licensed, and there's also other investments I can introduce you to as well that can help you kind of, keep that money flowing, but also send more money out to work for you. There's so many options. We won't really go into all of that, but I'll just say I deal with it. Getting out there and really being who I know I am is something I personally feel like, are you ready for this? And I'm like, heck yeah, because what else am I going to do? Go work a 9 to 5? Then I'll spend less time with my kids, even more. So I might as well put in that effort into my own business and what I've been blessed with a gift for, which is empathy and the ability to strategize and see things in numbers that people don't see. And I enjoy that. I think it's fun. So yeah, totally agree with what you said. Do you have anything else you want to cover?
Well, yeah, it's really interesting what you said about the fears about you not spending time with your kids. And I want to make that point as well, that these beliefs aren't necessarily logical. They're not necessarily true. But if you're not aware of them, if you haven't unearthed them and seen that they're actually there running the show behind the scenes, these illogical beliefs can actually be really affecting your behavior, and you have no idea why this is happening. Maybe you're doing all the right things and things just don't work out. That happens as well. Like you can show up for calls with clients and people just try to. I had one client who, before she worked with me, people used to constantly try to argue with her about the price and try to, bring her price down.
Mhm.
And it was nothing that she was consciously doing. She was following the exact same script. And then after what she went through my program, and this is something that she shared with me afterwards, she filled her program really quickly. And it was because we had shifted those programs that were related to her self worth. So even though she was following the exact same script with people, no
Mhm.
one tried to argue with her on the price. The exact same script, the exact same words, but her energy was totally different. So no people recognized her value. But you've got to
Right.
recognize your value first before other people can see it in you. And that's the thing that a lot of people get backwards. They think I've got to prove my worth. I've got to show Aunjane that I'm worthy, that I
Mhm.
deserve this. And you come to the call with all this proving energy rather than just relaxing and letting yourself be seen and and felt for who you really are. So it's
Right.
these things are not logical, they're emotional, they're energetic, but they control everything about your life. And I was talking to someone yesterday, a podcaster, who was talking about how in the past he had struggled for years and years and years, for a long time, to try to get a job. And he
Mhm.
went to an energy worker and shifted something and immediately got a high paying job. So this is the thing, how quickly these things can change. You might
Right.
have had them all their life, but they actually just take a second to change once you realize energetically and emotionally inside you, once the part of you that's holding on to it to keep you safe realizes that there's another way. And then things can really start to shift. And you can do without the struggle, without burning yourself out, without working 24 hours a day. I'm really not a fan of this hustle culture, this Elon Musk mentality where you've got to work 24 hours a day nonstop. This is really toxic. And
Mhm.
because when you're in alignment, you especially if you're selling your own product or service, your energy is part of what you're selling, so you've got to keep that energy high. You are the face of your business. It's
Mhm.
really, really important that you keep yourself in a good place. And even if you're selling products, what's the point in making a lot of money if you have zero energy to enjoy your life? We can have both and have money to spend with your kids, to spend with your friends, whatever it is that you enjoy doing. We have this mentality that it's either this or that. And
Mhm.
actually, we can have both. There's no reason why not. We just have
Right.
to get lined up with that and clear out all those deep seated beliefs that, you got to work hard for money. That's one that I see in pretty much everyone. I had that big time. You got to work hard for money. You got to struggle. You got to hustle. You got to try
Mhm.
hard. You got to when I started out, I was white knuckling my way to success, and it was not working. I was like, trying to force it, and nothing would work because that's not the way I'm wired. I'm wired to just attract the right people and step out there and be fully me. But if you're not
Yeah.
fully being you, if you're trying to be someone else, either consciously or unconsciously, the right people can't show up for you. They can't find you because you're not being yourself. You've got all this wiring from other people, all this baggage that you've taken on from your family, from your culture, from your community, and it's time to let some of that go. The ones that aren't working for you. I'm not saying you have to dump your community or your family, but some of those beliefs aren't working for you anymore, especially if you want to be successful in business. And it's time to let that go, and it's okay to let that go.
Right. Right. It totally is. And I was just making sure our lives were where they're supposed to be while you were talking, but 100% locked in with what you're saying because I told myself I can have both. I can spend time with my children, we can travel the world, I can make great money in my sleep while we're doing all of these things, and I can coordinate my schedule where it works for me. I did come from hustle culture. Hustle culture. I grew up with working women, most of them single parents. I got into the insurance industry, different industries that require that hustle, grind, go, go, appointments, busy, busy, Zoom calls, all this trainings. And I just indulged myself in that so much that when I really looked at it, I was like, why am I selling someone else's product harder than I can sell myself? Like, They're buying from me because they like me, but I have more to offer, and I can't even offer these things because of the limitations that this company has on me. And so I've always been in this space of feeling hindered in those spaces because I'm like, I have to do all this hustling and grinding and keeping quotas up and making money that they can take from me because there's chargebacks in that industry too. So I build up all these things, build up a team, and then the toxic culture of that is okay, you get a chargeback, you lost your money, you just got to go make more. And I'm like, can I process the fact that this is not something that works for me? Like I can't let someone not suddenly being able to pay for a policy affect my livelihood, you know? So there's
Absolutely.
a lot with that. So I totally understand like where you I totally agree with you.
That is so true. And the other thing that clicked in my brain when you were saying that is that it's so much easier to sell someone else's stuff. It's so much easier to sell
Mhm.
something that someone else made because you're not responsible. You have that difference. You have that separation. So I could easily sell your coaching, Aunjane. I could talk about it, but sometimes it's really hard for us to talk about ourselves. We're taught to dampen that down, to not be boastful, to not be arrogant.
Right.
So even people who are good communicators, who are good at selling, who have that natural skill, they struggle with selling their own product or service because of this really deep-seated self-worth things that you don't have when you're selling someone else's things. That's It's not about you. You have that distance. And this is the thing. I mean, I don't know about you, Anjane, but when I started trying to sell my coaching service, and I say trying because it wasn't very successful initially.
Understand.
I went through phases of kind of like was white knuckling it. I'd get on calls with people and I'd be really anxious for them to say yes. And what I got was a lot of maybes, a lot of people saying they'd get back to me. And it
Mhm.
was it was because not because I'm not good at selling, but because I had these really deep-seated beliefs about myself and my worthiness and could I ever do it and nobody would pay for this and all of those things running in the background. Even though I was consciously putting on the show that I'm selling these surface, I was doing it in a very kind of wooden way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
like
totally
that song, it ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. It's
Mhm.
so true. You can, like the lady with the script, selling her services. She was following the exact same script, saying the exact same things, but she was coming off totally differently and attracting a whole different group of people who didn't argue with her anymore.
Mhm.
So the good news is that it's not about changing them. It's about changing things in you that aren't working for where you want to go. And that's
Right.
actually really easy to do. This is how long it takes to let go of something, to drop it. The hard part is trying to carry it around and lug it around for 20, 30, 40 years and feel like a failure. Something's wrong with me. I'll never be successful. Oh my God, I've got to do this thing. Oh my God, I've got to show up on Facebook. Oh my God. If you're
Yeah.
going to with that energy, it's not going to work for you. And
Mhm.
that's been my experience as well. You've got to come and do these things from a place of alignment. And if you're not doing that, if you're white knuckling it or pushing it, or if you've got secretly all these fears that you can't do it, or another big one, if you've got the scarcity vibe going on, like that's a huge one. You're trying to sell something and you're really worried about paying your rent or something, which is
Right.
I've been there, guys. I've been there. I know that it's scary, but I can tell you from my own experience that when you show up on calls in that scarcity mode, people feel it on some level, and they tend to like it's like someone who's needy. You date someone and they're like,
Mhm.
it's such a ick, it's such a turn off.
Yeah.
So you have to break that down and release that. And then you become much more magnetic, which is what you want. You don't
Right.
want to be trying to force people to say yes. You want to just be in that yes energy and allow the right people to say yes to you.
Makes total sense. And I agree. I feel like once you expose it, it has to go because I mean, that's something that a lot of people should know. Like, even when, people are praying and things like that, just all those different things in the world that people are doing to release things, right? Once something is exposed and it no longer has a space in your mind to just stay hidden, it has to expose itself. And literally, energetically, will just start to bring situations where you have to let it go. And then just be okay with that. Like, I've had to let go of so much over the past 3, 4 years
Oh
just
my
to
God, yeah.
function the way I am now. And like you said, being in that yes energy. When I have tax consultations, like literally 90 to 95% of my clientele are complete strangers. Like I don't work with a lot of people that I've actually met ever in person. And
Yeah.
because I show up to my calls like, hey, I'm ready to help you. This is what I can do. And we just kind of talk through it and stuff. Like I don't go in there thinking like I hope they say yes. I hope they like me. And even if I feel nervous, I'm like, hey, you got this. You do this all the time. What are you tripping about? And then I just do it and boom, they're a client. Like it's not that difficult, but people make it difficult because it's the thought of just doing the thing. Like if we just like going live, like us doing this, I'm sure we both had things that are kind of like, okay, whew. But we know what we want. We know there's people out here that need what we have. So we're like, we're gonna show up, we're gonna do this, we're gonna perfect it as we go and make it happen. So yeah, this is great. I definitely think we can transition for the next like 10 minutes or so to, a portion where I can kind of bring in that financial clarity. And we'll
Yeah.
feel like our only two top. I think you went all the way in, so I think we'll do yours, kind of go through mine, and then we can end the live and just see kind of how everyone reacts to this because I hope you guys are really gaining the value. I wanted Emma to take a lot of time to really get into those deep details because she can help you with these money blocks. And if you're kind of in and out of the live, not really sure how you feel, if you're feeling something as you're watching this, I encourage you to you can reach out to me. I can get you connected with Emma. You can look her up on Facebook, Instagram. She's all LinkedIn, and message her directly and see if she can help you. I know she can. I've physically seen her do what she does. Like she can do this. So the next thing we're going to talk about is aligning money with your values. So one thing I will say in my
So
personal
important.
experience, I talk
Yeah.
personal experience. I grew up chasing a check. I needed to make sure that I had a job, that I made good money, and sometimes worked two jobs just to chase that, and versus educating myself in what I'm actually passionate about. So what I figured out was I started off working regular fast food, retail, all the things that younger kids do. And then I jumped into my mom's industry, which is leasing, apartment leasing, like a real estate type of thing, property management. And I noticed that I liked the leasing part, that was cool, but the management side was cool for me too because there was reports and finances and I had to balance budgets and do these financial reports and stuff. So that's what sparked me to go to college for accounting. And then when I learned accounting, I was like, well, I like the idea of helping people learn financial strategies, not really just like accounting tools. If I'm going to do this, I don't want to just be a bookkeeper. I want to focus more on the tax side. I already knew that part. So I was like, well, let me get education on tax, codes. Let me educate myself on bookkeeping and personal financial management because I'm already learning the piece in accounting for business. So I'm like, cool, I can do this. So I started to craft my money story and realign myself with what I really wanted to do. I didn't want to work, no offense to anyone who works at call centers. I don't like being on the phone all day. So, like, no, like, get your check. Look, all power to you. But I just know what I don't want to do. I could go lease at any given time. I don't like the toxic work environments, to be honest. I don't like watching people lose their homes. I like to sit down and do a budget with them, talk to them about their next move, help them plan a career move that could help them remain financially stable. Those things I did for myself. So I'm saying this to say you have to make decisions on how you earn your money first before you can figure out how you want to spend your money. So when I learned that I would like to earn money from helping people manage their finances, doing things for business strategies, bookkeeping, taxes, things like that, I started to craft offers that help people do that. Now, spending my money is more on the educational side. What can I learn? What do I not know? What are pieces of this industry, and especially in the tax space, where I can expand myself a little bit so I can offer more to my clients? So now that I figured out where my value is and I know what I can do, now I have my spending capacity. Okay, I'm going to get this training. I'm going to put it over here to the earning side, boost that up a little bit more, and then investing. So you can invest in your education, but of course, you are spending money in your education as well. But making investments with that money. The future me needs that stability too. So making sure that and I have six babies. Let's not forget that. So paying attention to like their education, investing into their learning and their passions and teaching them those same things. I pay attention to everything my children are good at naturally. I start to buy things that help them nurture it more. So as they get older, they're vocal like, hey, I want to learn this, I want to learn that, I want to learn how to bake, I want to learn how to cook, I want to learn how to design, I want to learn how to do nails, I want to learn how to do makeup. Whatever they tell me, I find something for them to do with it because I believe that that is how you lead a child to create that value around their money. They're not going to just go out here and get a job from just anybody who will give them one. I'm not saying that my kids can't work at a fast food joint. I mean, we all did it. So why not? But if that's not something they want and they're like, no, mom, I want to have a business like you. Okay, let's do it. So for me, making that investment into education on how to help my children build online brands is my next investment because I found a coach and everything. So this is how you create that value. I want my children see me do this every day. They see me make money out of nowhere all the time. They're like, how'd you? I'm like, I don't know. I just someone tagged me in a post. I went to a post. Someone was asking for this. They liked me. They said yes. And they're like, can I do that? You sure can. Because you're seeing your mom do it. So that's kind of what that's about. So this is what I call like value driven financial planning. I plan my money around what my next phase is or where I want to go. And whatever that comes with, and I'm making $3, $4, $5,000 a week. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh my goodness, what do I do? I'm like, heck yeah, I made $3, $5,000 this week. Let's go. Let's do it again. Get yourself excited. Get hype about what you want, and understand that once you're aligned with what you really desire in life, like allow yourself to think about what do I really want to do? What do I enjoy? What was I good at that I just didn't feel like I got enough time with when I was younger? And that's where Emma comes in, but that's really where you can find those things. And typically when people work with me, we expose that. And then that's usually the part where we try to work through it. But that's also now where, thank goodness, I can send them to Emma for help. Because I just want to get to the gusto. Let's figure out what are the moves. How are we going to do this? What platforms do you need to be on? What kind of content you need to be putting out? What contracts do you need to work with? Because sometimes some of y'all offer services that y'all can offer to businesses. Y'all can be freelancers. Y'all can do so much more. And let's just acknowledge the fact that if we had the proper clarity around what's holding us back and restructure the way we view and value how we make money, our life could completely change. Like my life feels so different now. I'm not stressing and worrying, okay, I got another check coming in 2 weeks and then I have to pay this, pay this, pay that. I'm really not worried about that. I'm like, okay, let's run it up. And then everything gets distributed as it's needed. And I'm able to go to the store, get whatever I need, go, get in some things. Of course, you have to wait till you get some more sums, but it's not so, it doesn't feel hindering because I know that the path I'm on, that increase is going to continue to come. So I'm just grateful. My baby's coming to me. Hey, I need this. I need that. Okay, cool. Go get it. Come back home. I don't have to count. I don't have to do any of that. And I want other people to experience that freedom. And the only reason I'm here at this point is not to toot my own horn, but it's to tell y'all I found what I'm good at. I found my purpose. I found value in myself instead of just allowing other people to just pay me whatever they wanted because I signed up for a job. So that's what my little spill. I know I go a little whoo because it really, I really spent most of my 20s chasing a check and it bothered me. And I was like, I don't want to do this. It feels so icky to me. Like even people sending me job offers for like $18 an hour. I'm like, do you know how much I make in an hour right now? Like if I sit here, I'm like, I can't fathom sitting down and making that much for to do something for an hour. It just doesn't work for me, and it works for some people. But then there's that. What about the consistency in the income? Because entrepreneurship can be up and down. But that's where you kind of a lot like my coaching and my services. So there's different income points that you can establish. Like there's delivery driving, like if you drive for Spark or Uber or whatever, there's supplemental ways that you can make money. There's services you can contract yourself out for and still control your time that are equate to the same exact thing you already do for your company. You're just contracting your company out because you need some money. So just don't give up, be creative, allow yourself to, like I started applying for jobs last year. I think I made a live. I was like, I'm going back into the workforce. I'm done with y'all. Because I was trying to share and stuff, and it just felt like, why isn't this working? And I was like, wait, this is me having something going on. It's not them. It's me fearful of, am I going to be able to make enough to be a helpmeet like I want to be for my husband? Am I going to be able to take my children on vacations and stuff? Is this worth it? And now I'm like, heck yeah, it is, because I just refuse. I'm not doing it. I'm not commuting anywhere. I'm not doing anything. I'll commute to the park with my kids. I'll commute to a resort. Like, I'm not commuting to a 9 to 5. So yeah, that's pretty much my spiel. Let me know if you agree with anything. If you want to talk more in depth about anything, Emma, that's just my part of the conversation.
Yeah, I love what you've just shared. I've been listening intently, and I think it's so important, like you said, that people do what they feel aligned with. I've done a lot of things just to make money, and like you said, it feels icky. And a lot of the times also the universe can, or you can force yourself to do a job that you know is not right for you, but you somehow manage to lose it or you get fired or something, and that might be the best thing in the world for you because that job is so limiting. When, like Anjane was saying, when you're paid per hour, it's really limiting. It's the most limiting way to make an income. And I know that some people are there. I've been there. I know what it's like to be earning per hour, but there's a cap on your income when you're earning per hour. There are only so many hours a day. Even if you work 24 hours a day, in theory, there would be a limit on how much you earn. But when you're in business for yourself, that limit comes off, and it becomes infinite. So it depends on you how much you're willing to receive, how much you're willing to open, how much visibility you're willing how much you're willing to put yourself out there so that you can show what it is that you do, your talents or your services, to the right people who need exactly what it is that you do. And there are so many things that people are doing now. When people are following their passion and doing what they love, following their highest excitement, they're finding that there are ways to make money. People skateboarding, people, jumping out of, so people do all kinds of crazy things and get people to pay them to teach them or to share it. So we have this idea that, it needs to be boring, that you need to work in an office to make money. All of that is a really old paradigm, and it's just not true. And some of us are not made for working in an office. I'm certainly not. I've done it, and it feels awful. It's not aligned with me as a person or my values to be working in an office, and I swore I'd never do it again. But then sometimes the desperation comes and you end up doing it again, and it ends up falling flat because it's not aligned. It's not aligned with your energy. So our job is to follow that, to follow what feels good, and to do that, to do what you're passionate about, and allow yourself to thrive. Do the work. This work that Aunjane is talking about and that I'm talking about. This is going to help you across the board in your life, because with Anjane's work you become more organized in the way you structure things. It also helps dissipate your fears around money. So many people have fears around looking at their money. If you can't look, you can't measure what you can't look at, what you refuse to look at. So you've got to be okay with looking at these things, recognizing where you are, being okay with where you are for you to get to the next step. Like, if you think of stepping stones, if you're denying the stepping stone that you're on, you can't take the next step forward. It's just impossible. And lots of people are there. They're like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. But we've got to open our eyes, take responsibility, recognize, release what no longer serves you, and rewire yourself for a new way of generating income. It's not about making money, it's about receiving money. Receiving the money just for being you, just for being out there and sharing what it is that you do.
Right. Right, exactly. Just putting yourself out there. You don't know who's out there. You don't know who will invest into your product or service if you don't put yourself out there. Like, I literally randomly got a message 3 years ago, and it was like, hey, somebody canceled their slot on my show. Can you jump in? It's in 2 hours. I know it's late notice, but you're the only person I could think of that would fill this slot. I was like, cool, I'll do it. I ended up getting a family that have been my coaching clients, that are my tax clients now. we're getting ready to start a next phase in their lives with business and things like that. So had I just said no, I'm scared, I don't want to go live, I don't want to talk about anything, I would have never met them, because they saw my live and they told me, I felt like that you are the person that's going to change our life. You're the person that can help us. And if they don't see you, they don't know. So if you need a little nudge, a little story time to help you understand how one little thing, one inconvenient, like it wasn't inconvenient, but you know what I'm saying, like one random thing that can come up. If you say no because of your fear, like imagine what that can do for you. Because me changing this family's life, their testimony could bring in even more clients. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. This has been so fun.
Yeah.
Way more flow than the last live. Like, this is great. Like I like the restream option a lot better.
Yeah, this is where we're getting really smooth tech. No tech
Yes.
problems this time, which is nice.
Yes, we love no tech problems for sure.
We love no tech problems indeed.
Yeah, so Emma, let's talk more about what you're offering. So I know you do have a program and you have money block sessions and things that you offer too. So can you talk a little bit more about that for someone who's hearing you and is like, well, where's the help? Because I need it.
Well, yeah, I have a 5 week program. It's a hybrid program, and it's 5 weeks. It takes you through all this. This is for business owners, or people who want to be in business, or people who are already in business and they're feeling blocked, they're stuck. They may have the financial planner, they may have the business expertise there. They recognize that's not where they're stopping themselves. It's something more emotional and energetic, and that's what this program is designed to do. It's designed to go really deep into your money wounds and to recognize them, bring them to the light of the day and release them. And also, as part of the call of that course, there are weekly calls. So every week for 5 or 6 weeks you have a group call with me where I actually help you on the spot. If you raise your hand, to clear whatever blocks you have, whatever challenges that have been coming up for you, I can help you release them there and then. It really doesn't take a long time. You know, people think it needs to take a long time, but actually it just takes a second to release these things. Your system is just holding on to something that's not working for it, and it doesn't know that it's not working for you anymore. So I just help with that a little bit, and then people feel the shift, and then things start to change out there in the world. They start showing up. You become actually a different person, the
Right.
next level of you, where
Hmm.
you're actually showing up totally differently. It's a different energetic frequency, and people can pick up on that. People can feel it, and the right people are going to be magnetized to you.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. And I love that you're targeting business owners, because there's a lot of small business owners who are experiencing growth out of nowhere and have no idea how to deal with it, how to function, how to manage it all. But it's really a lot of mindset work that needs to happen. I mean,
As
people are
well
like,
as the planning side of things. They need to have both. They need to have someone to help them
yeah,
with planning, but they also, if they're freaking out, they're like, oh my God, it's too much money. They can, even unconsciously, they have that fear. Oh my God, I'm making too much. They can put the brakes on it unconsciously, even though consciously they're there. Yeah, I love making this money. If
right.
there's a fear there, oh, I've had that. You know, when I started being successful in my business and started getting clients, then suddenly it would grind to a halt. I would keep doing the same things that
Hmm.
I had done to be successful, and suddenly it wasn't working anymore. That's,
Right. So we have to talk about the need to be
yeah,
okay with pivoting, because sometimes we have to. Sometimes the same thing works for the goal we're trying to reach, but then something else is required for that next phase of growth. And when we have trouble adjusting to change, like it's hard, because imagine me, tax repair. I'm helping people file their taxes and then they're owing, and I'm like, hey, if you do these things, you can really reduce this or eliminate it. And then so many people doing that, why wouldn't I learn tax planning? Because I just don't want to change the fact that I only want to prepare taxes. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. No, I was open to it because it's something I'm already doing. And if someone's already getting compensated for it, I'm trying to partner with them, and that's not really going as planned. Like, okay, let me learn and let me just do it, and make the investment I need to, so that I can really help my clients the way I want. So I had to jump in there on that one, because that pivoting part is like, okay, am I sure I want to do this? Is this something I really want? And it's like, yes, you do. Because if it wouldn't come up if it wasn't something that wasn't aligned with what you're already doing. It's just different. It's a different process. So I love that. So question I have for you, and then I'll go into what I can offer. But for someone who doesn't know, like they have the idea, but they don't know if they want to start a business, they're in that I don't know phase. It's like the scramble that happens when your energy is directly conflicting with your desires. Like you have all that going on. Do you have sessions for that? Like if they're not in business, so they probably wouldn't qualify for the program, right? But they're like, maybe I do want that. There's so much in there that they need to uncover. Is that something that you can assist them with as far as releasing those money blocks so that they can get clarity around if they want to do
Absolutely, because these money blocks, as I call them, which aren't really about money, you may have noticed, like money blocks are just an umbrella term,
it?
but they're very rarely about money.
Always linked to something
They're
else.
always linked to something much deeper. And I mean, this is why I love working with it because you get really deep within the person and people, it changes other areas of people's lives for
Hmm.
real. I have worked with people and the things start happening in the relationships. I was working with one lady and she was this the conflict we're talking about when you're trying to go this way and are you thinking about going this way and there's a part of you that's like hell no, that's too scary,
Yeah.
let's go that way.
Hmm.
You're pulling in two directions. So what the work that I do is about bringing them together and finding a balance so that you can be full in on getting this business or full in if it's not for you on doing something else. But yeah, I work with people who are just starting out as well because
Hmm.
that's huge. The fear about being in business is enormous because you don't have that paycheck, you don't have that security and stability, and we know that that's not real security and stability, but it's a
Right.
sense of it because you're getting this weekly money no matter what until you get fired or lose your job or something. But really it's a false sense of freedom, and a lot of people starting out in business, that's one of the big fears that I help them address so they
Okay.
can fully go all in on their business. So yeah, I work with people who are not in business yet but want to be and are aware that their blocks are their own fears,
Hmm.
are starting to recognize that.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I would say definitely get in touch with me if you're resonating with what I'm saying here. If you feel like you want to be in business, but there's a fear about it. If there's a calling, there's something pulling you forward, and there's like you feel this pit in your stomach or the butterflies or something, and it's just keeping you stay stuck in your job. You're not actually doing anything with your side hustle. These are all classic signs that you've got a conflict, and I can help you resolve them for sure.
Right. I love that. I love that. I wanted to make sure that I address that too because I know a lot of the people that are going to watch this may not have one, but they may be in that place where their brain just doesn't even want to process. They're like, it's too much. I don't know, but I know I'm not happy here. But if I do that, will it work? And there's stuff that's speaking to them that's not from a healthy place. So I was just making sure that's something that you were willing to, also indulge into. As far as me, Coach AJ, I deal a lot with, I do a more holistic side of financial coaching. So I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna be in a blazer and all this extra. That's why I'm showing up like this because this is how you're gonna get me. Because we have to have a real conversation and we cannot have the mask. To me dressing up, makeup, earrings, blazer, all that, it gives I'm better than you. It gives I know more than you. And truthfully, I just chose to educate myself in my passion, and that happens to be about financial management, about alignment with finances, because it's something I've explored myself. I am my own case study. So, budgeting sessions, yes. Savings plans, absolutely. I do not deal with investment fully. I have a couple of options I can introduce you to that a few people that I know personally, I've introduced them and they're invested and they love it. Their money has grown and all of that, but there is an advisor that I partner with that can do a thorough plan for you to help you do the investments that you might feel more comfortable with. But we just have to deal with it. We first things first, we have to map out what your money looks like. Where are you at? What are you doing? I don't care how bad it is. I don't care how ugly it is. I don't care if you cry. Everybody cries with me. Heads up. It's okay. Bring some tissue. And I'm not going to judge you. If anything, your emotions are going to help me tap into what I need to help you bring you through this so we can get through the session. So just know, like, there's no need for you to feel ashamed. I just want to see what's going on so I can help you. I can help you maneuver things. I can help you work around your paychecks, work around all of that. Even if you're a couple, and figuring out, okay, these things I can't really do because I have these things going on. Let's figure out how to merge them together, how to meet each other where your needs need to be, because you may not be communicating that. everybody's just getting money and spending it, and then at the end of the month it's like we didn't accomplish anything. So I'm about clarity. So I offer clarity kickstart sessions. I do have a VIP one-on-one coaching program, and there's a group program I'm launching as well. But for now, I really am offering a kickstart session. We'll get together. I'll give you my barefoot budgeting template. You will have my ebook as well, so you can review that. To kind of help you understand a little bit about why I call it barefoot budgeting. Because it's really, seriously, think about it. If you walk around your house barefoot and you haven't swept, you haven't mopped, you got dust everywhere, you're gonna feel that. So that's my way of saying, like, this is how we need to deal with our money. We need to be raw, real, vulnerable. This is what I need. This is what I want. If I had this much income, yeah, life would definitely change, but I wouldn't limit myself either. What can life really look like if I had the money that I really want? And it's okay if that for you, if that's $20,000, cool. For if it's 200, okay, let's get there. We're not judging here. Because there's a reason that you want that. There's something on the other side of that. And if you feel any type of nudge or something like this, when from my partnership with Emma, I would get you the help that you need. Let's get with the money as well and make sure you're properly saving it, investing it where it needs to go to make sure your future self has funds, and that we're planning accordingly. Like, we can't plan out a business or even the idea of bookkeeping or payroll or how you can pay yourself from your business if we don't even know what your personal bills are. If we don't even know what the business bills are and how they're getting paid, if we're late on all of that, we have to address that first. And then we have to figure out what your resistance is with paying things on time. Are you scared you're going to run out of money? What are you afraid of? Because sometimes that is why stuff ends up getting paid late. We forget about it because we don't want to pay. We like the idea of it sitting in our bank account. And that's okay if you're dealing with that. But that's what my clarity sessions are all about. So my clarity sessions is like 97 people. I also have a coaching subscription, which is kind of like the one-on-one, so you can have accountability with me monthly and the ability to reach out to me, where you can really just retain me every month to be like, hey, I'm trying to do this budget. It's stressing me out just a little bit. Help me. Can we sit down? Can we go through the numbers for this month? Okay, let's do it. And I will do that with you in a subscription so that you can have 3, 6 months or so for you to get clarity and understand how you should function with your money. And after that, go be great. I just want everybody to be great. But yeah, that's pretty much a synopsis of what I offer. It's real organization. It allows you to feel your feelings, allows you to be frustrated, but actually walk away with strategies and help. So we are at the 45. We did so good. 45 minutes. Yes. And this was jam
Absolutely.
packed. Like, we haven't even gotten through every topic we can talk about, but we kind of touched on a few things. So Emma, we can review our document after to kind of see what we want to talk about next time. But we'll be back next week again around the same times, anytime between about 10:30ish to noon. We'll kind of keep it around there because this seems to be, there's been a few people popping in. Hello to everyone who has joined and who's watching the
Hello,
replay.
everyone joining live, and
Yes.
drop if you have questions, drop them in the chat. If you have a comment, something that you want to add, something that you'd like us to talk about, and you can always reach out to us. Send us a DM if you
Yep.
need if you need coaching advice with your physical. If you're feeling all disorganized with your finances, reach out to Coach AJ. And if you're recognizing that there's something deeper going on, hit me up in my DMs because I have the program and I also do one-to-one sessions. So if you're feeling stuck, a one-to-one session can be really the way to go to release things really quickly.
Yes, yes. Awesome, awesome. Yes, get with both of us. I know we have options at work for you. Do not worry about budget. We have something that can work for you. As long as we're aligned, as long as the connection is there, we can make it happen for you. Because we don't work with just anybody, but we definitely want the person that feels stuck and feels like they need some clarity to get through it. That's what this partnership is all about. So we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been so fun. I don't really have any last words. Follow, connect. We're here to help, and that's pretty much what all of this is about. So we will see you next week.
See you next week, guys. Bye.
Bye.